Today I'd like to talk about white fragility. It is an issue I just find myself rather amazed by. Um, Now I recognize that not everybody has an issue with it, so I realize that this is a general statement. But I have I come from a position of um, having people in my life of color and all different types of variety of color. And so I've had the benefit of many years of being able to question myself um, and try to be as morally sound as I can be. Um, so I'd really like for Spirit to help us to understand what can we do about white fragility, because I just don't think that white fragility right now is in any way helping us deal with the virus. It isn't helping us to get to the bottom of do we wear a mask or not wear a mask. It's not helping us to deal with how we go forward on dealing with historical statutes. If we want to put a museum together and say to the people that want to go see that stuff that there it is, you can go see it anytime you'd like, and I think that that's a that's just fine with me. I think that their perspective is their perspective, and it's not my business. So it is my business in that I care about the collective whole, but really, if they want to privately and quietly dislike other humans because they don't like their skin color, then that's not my business. As much as I want to be in charge of morality on the planet Earth. My job is to be in charge of morality for myself. So really what I'm asking today, I want to know about white fragility. Um, right now, there are some studies out that are fairly troubling about in the United States um, the people who are closely aligning themselves with this current political cycle. And that largely we're talking about a group of people, and this is just, these are studies that are being done right now, that people who refuse to wear masks and feel like that they are um, above that and shouldn't be required to follow the guidelines because they're in their mind they're incorrect. Well, um, the studies are showing that these are some intellectually challenged people. And what's interesting is when we did the tarot reading on the KKK, that is precisely one of the major features of those groups is that they tend to import lower intellect. Now, I'm not going to say that the group that put the group together, the people who put the group together, were of lower intellect. I don't think so. I think they were of a higher intellect, and I think they were highly manipulative, and they even picked some of the karmic. I think they might have had an astrologer help them pick the date. If you want to know the truth, there's just some factors that how they could have picked. This election cycle 2020 to maybe have a rise in their ability to cause to use their movement. You know that was something that you couldn't have seen coming. But that's what the chart says. That this has been in the cards. This has been fated. And then what's interesting is that after 2020 and we go into 2021, and it's fated to go underground again, which is what the cards showed us. So I think that number one, I think that right now what we are seeing in this white fragility is really, I want to just say what it really is. It's people disguising their fragility in the form of hatred, or I'm so delicate you can't possibly harm me, or you can't be a black person on my block, or whatever you can't have any Latino people stepping over the border because it might personally impact me. I think that's of a lower intellect, and I don't think that it's serving a good purpose. So if this sounds like I'm not saying that you're stupid. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that you're not really serving your higher good. And I'm spiritually to do your homework and find out what it is to do your higher good, how to reach your higher self, how to connect to you so that you don't have the need to hate. Because if you fill in with love, there's no room for hate. So, that just is what it is. Okay, and today I'm going to use the fountain deck. We are talking about white fragility. And basically, I want Spirit to help us to understand what we can do to to be a part of the solution for this issue and not a part of the problem. Because I think right now there's a lot of people that are a part of the problem, and I, certainly, I don't care whether somebody says Dr. Fauci said this and then he said that, and if we are practicing, we are learning as we go. And for those of you who want to get stuck on the little details along the way and call it good, realize you are choosing to go out in public and risk the safety and well-being of other people. So do so knowing that's what you're doing. And me personally, I choose not to. If I see something that I believe is risky, I even I pull back. I go into a further quarantine if that's what it takes. And right now, all of us, if we were willing to take the steps, our white fragility is in our way, people. It's in our way. So let's begin. We are using the fountain tarot deck, and we are going to do a Celtic cross. And I am going to go ahead, and it starts out about an Ace of Cups. That right now there are new possibilities. There are things going on, and that white fragility is this. It's a mirrored process. What I kind of see is that reflection on the body of water of this new possibility. It's reflective. What is crossing it is the Fool. And let me turn that. Yeah, that's actually right. Okay, the Fool. And what's interesting is the KKK reading. They got the Fool. The beginnings of their journey and all of that. And what's crossing them is that their journey itself is very likely at its pinnacle, and it is about to come to a different place. As you can see, there's this large ravine that this uh, person is jumping over, who is the Fool. And the question is, do they make it or do they not? And why would you take the risk? This is our white fragility. This is the chasm that we currently have. And do we have enough emphasis to make it to the other side and to not have our white fragility be what holds us back? And because this group and their fragility and where they're at, they in a past position get the Chariot, rapid transformation. And I think where I believe this is, what this is referring to is this current election cycle. And it's like it's saying it's got this horse, and you can see the horse, and then it's got this shadow horse on the side, which very accurately kind of depicts this government we currently have, with a lot of shadow energy going on to the side, and this group kind of collectively being a part of that shadow energy. So that's in the past position. Um, then we get an Eight of Wands, a long road forward, with, as you can see at the very end, as if it has an explosion. It has a process where its lights maybe will be going behind the horizon, where its energy is going to go back underground, which again is consistent with what I believe is going to come of these hate groups, is that they are going to largely go back underground. But as you can see, as we are quite fractured, we're quite fragile, and this has been a long road of fragility. But at this time, some things are about to change, and that fragility, that fracturing that we see, because it's illuminated, is going to slip behind the horizon. In the below position, again, a Seven of Wands, just kind of they're involved in this big old battle that as a past position. It's and again, this is what goes on above, so it goes on below. If you look at this card, at this shadow card, this shadow energy, this shadow horse in the background, and the lone rider. Okay, this shadow energy. Well, what's going on below is again you see something of the of this foolish leaping, this battle, this Seven of Wands, where it is it's at best troubling. We are jumping through the slots now, aren't we? Because I think white fragility in its senses is over. We can't continue to claim in the name of God that our white power, our white supremacy is something that we're allowed to keep. I think that we have to. I think we have to let that one go. What goes on above, so goes on below. But what no longer serves, you lose. And I think this is some things we need to lose. Uh, but largely, why have we had white fragility? Well, it's about money. This is an Eight of Coins. It's about we've made money off of this kind of notion. If I'm fragile and someone offended me, and I'm able to say you offended me and you owe me for that, and that's kind of how we are as humans. We have some real ideas about what we're owed when we get offended. And, thus we've got the lovely new term, Karens. We have those everywhere, which is, I'm really glad to see people are calling other people out on their really very obnoxious and poor behavior. But here we are. What is it about? It's about money. It's about using people, misusing people for money, and claiming our whiteness as a reason why it's appropriate. And it's not appropriate. No one owes you money because they're from a different culture or background. Um, you find someplace in the spiritual guidelines of the universal laws where it says something to that effect, and I'll tell you, I don't know. That it's not appropriate. And then in at the heart of the matter, we get the Ten of Wands. It's like it is completely over with in some ways. It has come to the end of its divine discontent, and what we are going to see as this election cycle rolls on by, we are going to see that this group is no longer the powerhouse they view themselves as. Because, well, I think that you can't do it. I think they're trying to bring back some form of it's okay to enslave or disgrace or shame or blame or otherwise keep people in some form of oppression. And I think it's time for us, those of us who have any intellect left, to say that's not appropriate. And no, I'm not buying. I'm not buying. And as a result of this energy, it's a Five of Swords. It's hot, heated verbal nastiness. It's coming out everywhere. And you know, I hope that I hope that if you are of this nature, that you will take this information that I'm providing and really apply it to yourself, because all it is really required of you is just to change your mind. Hate is not, it's not an option. It's not an energy that we need. And it really is an energy that's being put upon us through a process of really, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of brainwashing. Because why do we think we're better than somebody else because of a skin color? Or why do we think we we're more capable because we're white? Why do we think that? Where does this come from? And with that, I'm going to ask further clarifiers as to why we think it's okay that we're white and that we can go into battle and be Karens. I don't understand. I'm sorry, I just don't get it, don't want to get it, and will not get it. So, and in our hopes and fears position, we have the King of Swords. It's a group. It's an energy that's designed to just plain cut us down. It's designed to keep us separated. It's designed to keep us verbally distanced from each other, not communicating. And it's out of fear, in our hopes and fears position. In the conclusion position, we get the Queen of Swords. And with the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords and the Five of Swords, I want to ask. It's as if it's a family of cards that needs further understanding. So I am going to grab the After Tarot. Let's see if I can get it out of I have a nice little drawer here under my feet. Okay, and Spirit, could you just tell us about this sword energy? I was going to ask about the Five of Swords, but it's kind of a collection of sword energy here, because I've got just all three of them right next to each other. And I would like to know, Spirit, what is all this sword energy? I have the feeling that it's about the way words are used in this with this group of people, how they perceive, and they think they're. I think that in fact this is what Spirit is telling me. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so what I get right away is the lovers. They're tied to this political cycle in such a way that that one is really one is really tied deeply to the other. All right, Spirit, so tell me more about this, the Lover's card. So, in other words, I think what it's alluding to is that our current administration at the very top is encouraging this kind of divisive and bigoted behavior, which I think we all know that's true. I don't think that's really news, but I think it's, and again, we get the King of Swords, this to reemphasize that really that is the question. What about this guy? What is his part in this? And the tie to the current election cycle. Him putting his sword in his crown and drawing his lines and bringing out his ravens to go to battle for him. And but things are going to rapidly transform. Things are about to rapidly change for this particular energy. And oh my goodness, thank goodness. Okay, Stuart, tell us more about this rapid transformation, because really, I think we're all so far over it that we just really don't have any desire to have it continue. Yeah, we're in battle right now, and we're getting battle weary, is what this is saying. Is that we're just kind of all getting and this is information coming forward, and it's kind of getting bigger. It's a Knight of Swords bringing forward information. Is it the virus that's going to knock them back? Well, I certainly hope so, but I don't know. And then they're going to go. They're going to go back to looking overseas for whatever support. And I believe that some of this is actually from overseas, and I think some of it is a carryover from some of the Nazi energy as well. So, I mean, I think it's just kind of this convergence of these groups at this time that have the hate energy, in somehow there it's going. So, and at the bottom of the pack on the fountain deck is the bottom pack energy is the Seven of Swords. It's this constant. Sorry, I'm learning how to manage this camera stuff here. Anyway, the Seven of Swords. That right now this group, although they're coming forward and they're taking power, they're deeply embattled themselves, and and their energy is immature. Page of Swords. You know, they really it's about to run aground, and my thought is that November, when we have the elections, that we're going to see a turnout that is going to be a bit on the very large side. I know myself. Um, I'm dealing with major chronic illness, and I don't really care. I'm clear with myself that if I have to walk on my eyelashes to do the right thing and vote my conscience, I'm going to. And I've heard other people say similar things. So, I mean, you could take my vote away by saying I can't be a registered voter, or you could take my vote away by saying that I have to go into the polls, but I assure you, it's not going to matter what you say to me. I'm going to vote. So with that, I thank you. I would like if you'd please hit the like, share, and subscribe button and join my channel. Also, if you would like a reading or if you need astrology, I have a full range of astrology type of reports on www.twiggy.com, twiggie.com. And with that, I conclude, and I thank you for joining me here today.